Recognizes the gentleman from New Mexico for for 5 minutes, Mr. Vasquez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Ranking Member. It can't be lost on us today that we're sitting here for a hearing titled Supporting Farmers, Strengthening Conservation, Sustaining Working Land, when just 3 weeks ago, some of my colleagues on this committee voted essentially to gut the Farm Bill and limit the chances of passing the historic bipartisan Farm Bill. So I think if we're going to talk about conservation, let's talk about conservation initiatives that are effective, that are based in science, and that are supported by farmers and ranchers on the ground, not the talking points from the White House. Because I am limited on time this morning, I'm going to make this easy and ask our panel some simple yes or no questions and shift the focus to some legislation that we can pass, apart or as part of a farm bill, hopefully. Mr. McClellan, you stated that you learned early on that agriculture and wildlife conservation were not mutually exclusive activities, which is something that I completely agree with. Do you still agree with this?
Yes.
Well, then I think you'd support my bipartisan bill, which is the Habitat Connectivity on Working Lands Act, which was written for this exact purpose and expands voluntary USDA programs to improve wildlife corridors on private working lands, including habitat for waterfowl and upland bird habitat. Thank you, Mr. McClellan.
Thank you.
Mr. Fink, do you agree that farmer-to-farmer education, which creates mentorship opportunities between experienced and new producers, is a valuable tool for farmers using federal dollars?
Yes, it is in fact one of our top Farm Bill priorities in conservation.
Well, thank you so much. That's the idea behind my bipartisan Farmer-to-Farmer Education Act, which creates mentorship opportunities between experienced and new producers, and I appreciate your support for this approach.
Thank you for your leadership on it.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Galassi, you said that the cattle industry is threatened daily by government overreach in part of your opening statement documents, and it's one of the impediments to conservation for ranchers. Is this correct?
Yes.
Well, I think you'll be happy to support or endorse my bipartisan bill. That's exactly what this does. The Ranching Without Red Tape Act aims to fix this issue by removing bureaucratic delays so that ranchers can make much-needed improvements on time without having to renegotiate their leases on federal land. Thank you, Ms. Galassi. Mr. Baining, in your testimony, you raised concerns about the closure of NRCS offices, which is something New Mexican farmers are also facing. Is this still an issue for farmers in Texas?
Yes, sir, it is somewhat, yes.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm sure that you'll also then hopefully support my legislation, which is the Honor Farmer Contracts Act, which stops the USDA from indiscriminately closing NRCS offices and requires the federal government to honor its already signed contracts with American farmers and ranchers. Thank you, Mr. Baining. I want to thank you all for your support of these bipartisan legislative priorities that I hope get to see the light of day both in this committee and the House Natural Resources Committee, because these are important priorities in which if we have the absence of an actual farm bill, we can't pass to help support farmers and ranchers across the country. And that's why I've introduced this full package of legislation designed to meet those goals. These are practical bills that are crafted with input from farmers and ranchers that strengthen conservation partnerships, expand wildlife corridors, and help producers sustain and grow their operations. I believe this is the kind of work that we should be focused on, both in our subcommittees and in the full committee, delivering real solutions that producers in New Mexico and across the country are asking for. Instead, and unfortunately, the priorities of this committee have advanced a bill that just cut SNAP and delayed or eliminated billions of dollars from farmers, families, and food retailers. So if we're serious about supporting farm country, we should act like it. I urge my colleagues to continue to support farmers and hold legislative hearings just like this one and markups on common sense bills like mine that I've laid out today, bills that actually solve our problems for our constituents and for farmland and for farmers and ranchers across the country. Thank you so much. I yield back, Mr.